What would you do if you found out your partner was sexting somebody pretending to be Max Rebo? I mean, me personally, I'm coming back home with some elephant ears. But today we're going to explore that along with some other really weird Reddit stories that I found that all have to do with our favorite fandoms. What's up, Superfans? My name is Zay and welcome back to another video. If you are new here, the rumors are false. We are not a cult. We've beaten the allegations. And if you want to see for yourself, make sure to subscribe and join the community. And speaking of community, before we get into the video, we have to share today's featured fan. Today's featured fan is going to be, oh god, how do you pronounce this? MYR33YE2QI. That stands for, my, you're really 33. You eat 2 quesadillas in one bite. Anyway, MY shared a fun fact on our Marvel OC video saying that Laredo from Black Widow had asthma. Thank you so much for your comment. You are now solidified in the featured fan Hall of Fame. And if you watching want to be the next featured fan, make sure to leave a comment below. All right, with that all out of the way, let's get started and we'll start with the one that I teased you with earlier. All right, so the first story is coming from Am I the Asshole? And it reads, am I the asshole for refusing to give up an NSFW roleplay for my boyfriend? I, 27 female, am using a throwaway account because this is embarrassing. I've been involved in the Star Wars fandom since high school. I've written some top-rated fan fiction for the fandom. Ooh, so we've got a Star Wars fandom celebrity. Ooh. And while I write some completely safe for work content, I also write quite a bit of smut. What kind of Star Wars smut do you think is out there? I feel like the obvious one is like Twi'leks. That's like George Lucas is probably writing that now. And then she took her Leku and wrapped it around my flannel shirt, pulling the collar over my neck and whispered in my ear, McClunky. When I was in college, I began an ongoing roleplay with a woman from another state. She is a married woman, and over the years, we've become friends. We video chat sometimes, talk about our days, etc. You know, the fact that they're in the Star Wars fandom means that there's like a non-zero chance they've seen one of my videos. Not a big one, not a big one. We're not too big of a community. Subscribe so we're bigger and we can get smut writers watching our videos, but that would be hilarious. And we also do NSFW Star Wars roleplay together. Okay. All of our roleplay is written in third person, with us equally controlling a character. Usually this involves prequels era Obi-Wan Kenobi and somebody else, and it gets very, very spicy. We're not in a romantic relationship. Her husband knows about me and even made her a joke t-shirt about her fan fiction and roleplay, and is cool with her doing this. Okay, so OP is showing that they get that it's important for the other partner to be not only aware but okay with it, and they're not looping their partner in. I am completely straight and not attracted to her at all. When my boyfriend, male 31 of 2 years, initially asked me to be his girlfriend, I told him about it. Oh, okay, so they are aware, even though I am much more embarrassed about it and I don't really like to talk about the details to many people. It was clear that I really enjoy the role playing and that I want to continue it. I didn't want an open relationship. If you wanted to do online roleplay or collaborative storytelling with someone online, I'm cool with that. But I was clear that I consider this to be essentially a shared passion we have for seeing Obi-Wan Kenobi get absolutely right. Obi-Wan's a power bottom. We never write in first person or about ourselves in a sexual manner, and that to me would be the line in the sand. That's what separates roleplay and collaborative writing from sexting. And I'm fine with roleplay, but not sexting. Okay, I do kind of see the line that they're drawing here. It's not that I thought originally that this was them talking back and forward, being like, I'm Obi-Wan and I come in and I present my succulent Jedi butt. Me, Max Grebo, comes in and I slide my keyboard out of the way, blushes slightly. You know, like, I thought it was gonna be shit like that. But like, I do get if they're like kind of co-writing sexy fan fiction together, that does feel a little different. He said he understood the boundaries and was fine with me continuing the roleplay. He didn't think it was a big deal, but he wasn't interested in doing them himself. Recently, he sat down with me and told me that after 2 years with me, he changed his mind. He basically out of nowhere accused me of cheating on him by doing this, even though I was completely open about it. He agreed, and it's been happening with his knowledge for 2 years. He said he started to think about proposing, but he just can't marry someone who is speaking sexually to someone else. He wants me to completely cut my friend. Okay, well, let's finish this paragraph. He basically accused me of cheating even though I had permission. Let's make something clear, right? You can change your mind about boundaries in a relationship, right? I do think it's a little controlling for him to say that he wants her to cut the friend off completely. I feel like if he came to her and was like, look, I thought I was cool with it, but like, you know, I'm much more invested. I'm thinking about taking things to the next level and it like makes me uncomfortable knowing you're doing this. Could you stop? That would be a different conversation, but saying like, cut this person out of your life that's like obviously very important to her. They're like friends from college and shit. I think that's a little far. I know it may sound silly, but this isn't something I'm willing to give up. This is my longest standing friendship and has persisted through several major life events. Yeah, exactly. You can't have somebody cut out a friend entirely. That's weird. I really enjoy the roleplay aspect too. And if I had known my boyfriend wouldn't be okay with it, that would have been a day one deal breaker for me. Oh, interesting. Okay. So it just flat out isn't something she's willing to get rid of, which is fine. You can also make that call. I told him no, and he was pissed. He said he couldn't believe that after 2 years with him, I didn't love him enough to want to be with him, that he wasn't sure he could marry someone who would act like that, etc. I don't think it's about not loving you enough. That's kind of manipulative, right? That's some like Sith mind trickery. I stood my ground and told him he always knew this was important to me, and that if it's something he cannot live with, then he needs to cut his losses and find someone else, because I'm not stopping. I'm going to write about Obi-Wan Kenobi spreading those cheeks. He said he needed time to think and left. This happened. He's just like sitting in the dark room like Anakin with the lights on him, just seething. This happened yesterday and I haven't heard from him. I'm basically reeling right now, since he never expressed discomfort about this before and even made jokes sometimes. I feel like it came out of nowhere and wasn't a fair thing to ask, but he seems so upset and hurt that I'm questioning my judgment. Am I the asshole? Are you the asshole? Definitely not. I think that the guy is definitely the weird one in this situation. What he was saying was definitely very manipulative, and the fact that it did come out of nowhere, like I said, you can renegotiate boundaries, you can change your mind on things. That is welcome, right? You should be having an open conversation with your partner, but he's not communicating to share his feelings or to have you understand him. He's trying to get a specific result. He's manipulating you. He's saying, I want this and it has to be this, and then if you say no, it's that you don't love him enough. Red flag, red saber. Let's see what some of the comments say. I'm very curious. Top comment: nah. I'm not gonna judge, and I mean, you're allowed to prioritize your role play over real partners, but this is pretty much cheating, and he's pretty much allowed to consider it as such and leave. I think you're taking away a lot of nuance. I don't think this is necessarily cheating. I think that you can think it was cheating if it was your partner, but I think like if you're trying to say objectively it is cheating, I think that's a little strong. Okay, this is a little explicit. If you're a youngling, close your ears. But OP said, yeah, I definitely never, what should I say there instead? Meditate. You know what I mean. Yeah, I definitely never meditate while role playing. That would make me feel kind of weird because I am interacting with another human being during that time, and I don't have that type of relationship with her, and neither of us have consented to the other person getting off while we write. Very interesting. I have admittedly gotten off to fantasies that we wrote about, and at a later time by myself. See, okay, this to me is starting to feel more like, if you know, there's a lot of people that self-publish like erotic novels. What if they were in a writing duo, right? And they're writing situations that are hot and heavy or whatever, and then they go home and meditate to the stories that they were writing. I don't think that's necessarily cheating. Oh yeah, they even say right here, I think it's more comparable to co-authoring erotica. It's a third person, not relating to the self, and the end result of that is an RP that's essentially an erotic novel. I also meditate to the fiction that I author alone, and he has no problems with me publishing my erotica either on fanfic sites or through traditional methods for my original non-fanfiction work. So what I'm picking up on in the comments actually is that a lot of people are saying this is just flat out cheating, to the extent that the last comment on here is somebody saying, you love yourself, you never loved him, he'll be better off in the end. Like, holy crap, am I just like super wrong? Everyone in the comments is like, from my point of view, you're evil. I don't know. I think that this is like, I think there's a little more nuance to this, and I don't think they're the asshole. I think if anything, this person was very upfront. There was a comment that they made where they said that when they first told their boyfriend about this, when they first started dating, that they even like went and like explained and answered questions about how explicit it gets. I think that this was fine. This is somebody that like has a thing they're into, their partner communicated their issues, and it just seems like they're both at different spots. That's allowed. You can break up. Like, that's fine. I'm gonna give this one a not the asshole. OP, I think you're fine. I think it's cool. Let me know what you guys think. I'm very curious. I didn't expect there to be such a divide. All right, well, let's move on to the next story. This one is also from Am I the Asshole, and it's titled, Man Didn't Believe That I Like Star Wars. So I was at a Halloween party and made a joke that this guy in a cloak looked a bit like a Jedi. He then spent 15 minutes trying to catch me out on this lie that I like Star Wars. And honestly, he seemed like less of a fan than me. He didn't know about the Ahsoka series and then still tried to play it off as me being a fake fan. That's like big news when there's a new show. If you're in the fandom at all, you know when there's like a big new property. Imagine if someone's saying they like Marvel and they didn't know Fantastic Four was coming out. Like, that's weird. I had no reason to lie. I was not into this guy. Anyway, after ages of him talking down to me, I said to him that he's really doing a bad job of chatting me up and that what he was saying was sexist, which it is. Anybody that's been around in fandoms like this knows that this is like a thing. You see women getting gate kept all the time. And like, dude, anybody can like a fandom. There's stories, dude. Like, you're gatekeeping Jedi, really? Let's be real. If another dude said he looked like a Jedi, he'd either just say thanks or say that that's not what he was going for and then move on. Absolutely, 100%. You know, oh my God, this happened to my girlfriend. She was working this retail job, and there was somebody that had like a Star Wars t-shirt on, and she told her like, oh, hey, I like your shirt. And this went in, literally, it was a compliment about like, hey, cool shirt. I also like Star Wars. And it proceeded to be him quizzing her on everything she knows about it. Name one ship. Name one animal. You know, like, dude, fuck off. Normally, I wouldn't have been so brutal, but I'd had some drinks, and I'd also faced a lot of douchebags lately. I also tried really hard to be nice to him, as he barely knew anyone. So it was a shock to me to be met with such superiority. I don't really care that much whether he believes I'm a fan of Star Wars, but it was the way he acted like it's impossible for a woman to be a fan of the franchise. The reason that she's referencing that it feels like it's bigger than just this interaction is because it is. Women are denied like any kind of interaction in spaces like this. I don't know if it's like because fandoms can be such a big part of someone's identity and they think that it's like threatening to have somebody. No, that's giving too much credit. I think it's literally just like they don't like women. You know, how many times have you heard about like fake gamer girls online? Oh my God. Alongside with some other slightly sexist comments. Yeah, see, there it is. He just doesn't like women. I feel like I was driven to be as blunt as I was, but I do feel bad for what I said. And he did seem upset for the rest of the night. Am I the asshole? Let me tell you, no, you're not the asshole. I'm going to give that a big stamp of not the asshole. But I will say I'm really scared to see what people on Reddit are saying. This feels like not the right crowd to complain about this too. Oh, a lot of people are saying not the asshole. They said, what did you do that could be described as asshole-ish? From your description, he was being a dick to you and you told him so. Someone else said, ew, this man sucks. I know nothing about Star Wars, but I do know you don't need that sad man in your life. Bars. Not the asshole. It's a common bullshit thing. If you say you're into something, some guys will get all competitive and try to prove that you're not a real fan. And it makes no sense unless it's an identity thing. See, that's what I was saying. Like, maybe that's just like all they have, you know? And then also the fact that they don't like women. Star Wars is for manly men, and a woman expressing genuine interest in Star Wars makes her dick fall off, metaphorically speaking. Yeah, that's so funny to act like Star Wars is like a traditionally masculine thing. Chill out. I mean, look at like Princess Leia in the OT. She broke a lot of like the tropes that women were trapped in that time, especially in like sci-fi and fantasy. Even though she was still unfortunately very sexualized, that's like a terrible stain on the history of Star Wars, right? But she did still break a lot of those tropes. She was strong, she was ambitious, she was smart and cunning, and even though she was sexualized, that wasn't like how she got things done. And like to wrap it all up perfectly is like the fact that she gets like forced into actual sex slavery for Jabba and she kills him. Like, you know what I mean? Like that there's a lot of cool things that they do in Star Wars with stuff like that. And I think it's ridiculous to act like women don't have a place in Star Wars. I was about to say like, look at Leia and Ahsoka and Rey, but people hated Ahsoka and Rey too. People just don't like girls in Star Wars, bro. We got to start a war on toxic fandom. I hate that this is like our legacy. When we say we're a Star Wars fan, people immediately think about these guys, you know? Someone else said, not the asshole. I was an Ewok for Halloween when I was 3. Please don't tell me somebody's gonna gatekeep a toddler. I've been a fan since Return of the Jedi was released, yet one of my son's obnoxious friends tried to argue with me about Star Wars. Oh, thank God it wasn't when she was a toddler. But still, come on. My mother didn't raise me to dropkick adolescence, but it was tempting. That's really funny. You should have done it, honestly. These last two comments, I think, perfectly encapsulate how I feel. First one says, not the asshole. If he gets upset for being told he's sexist when he's absolutely being sexist, he needs to reevaluate. Tell him to take off his fedora. It's blocking his view of the real world. Bars. And then the last one, not the asshole. Fuck gatekeepers. They ruin everything. If you just wrapped up my entire view on online fandom discourse, it would be that. All right, and we're going to be moving on to our final story. Somehow we ended up with all Star Wars today. I don't know how that happened. This one comes from True Off My Chest, and it reads, my boyfriend is going to cry, and I don't feel bad about it. In fact, I'm excited. I've been with my boyfriend for a little over 3 years now. I don't even think there are words to describe how I feel about him. Oh, my life changed in an unimaginable way when he entered it. There is no one on the planet that can ever make me feel the love I feel when I look at him. This is so sweet already. I never thought I would find someone who treats me this way, or that I even deserved a partner like him. He never fails to remind me that he thinks about, loves, and adores empowers me. The other day he made a passing comment that any experience he has ever had is always so much better if my presence is there. This is so sweet. So my boyfriend is a huge fan of Legos, like massive. He always buys smaller sets from Target and builds them in free time to relax. Anytime we go to the mall, he always wants to walk around the Lego store just to marvel at the big sets. He can afford them, but he's not the type to spend money on himself. Every time we go in, I always catch him looking at the Star Wars Cantina set. Oh, that's cool. What does that look like? Oh, it's cool. It like opens up and shit. He always talks about how one day maybe he'll muster up the courage to pour $400. $400. It's on eBay. It's $565. Why are you charging so much for plastic? He always talks about how one day maybe he'll muster up the courage to put the $400 down and fulfill his dream. But he won't have to do that. I just ordered it off the Lego website. Because I spent more than $150, I get a small Santa set. So what my plan is, I'm just gonna gift him the Santa set when we're alone, and I'm gonna surprise him with the Cantina set. He has done so much for me this year, and I can't imagine not giving this to him. So yeah, he's gonna cry, but I'm excited about it. Thank you for listening. Oh my God, that's so sweet. Someone said not the direction I thought this is gonna go. Yeah, me either. I really love that. That's so cool. I'm gonna end it with an update that they said. Somebody commented saying, I love that you encourage his hobby instead of calling it childish. Keep that, man. And OP responded, of course, he's a very creative person, and it would be beyond cruel of me not to nourish and love that. It is one of my favorite things about him. Sometimes he'll get a set for himself and a set with 2 characters just so he can build together because it makes him happy. This is so sweet. I'm a sucker for love, bro. And I think that that's so sweet. You know, like having somebody recognize and celebrate those things with you is so important. My girlfriend and I, we read books together every night. And we just finished The Hobbit, and now we're starting the first Kyoshi novel because I really loved it and she hadn't read it yet. And it's so fun just engaging with that. Like I'm getting to see her like the story of, you know, you guys obviously know Avatar is my favorite fandom. And seeing her like be involved in it and caring about it and asking questions and stuff like that, it reminds me of the first time we watched the show together or when we watched Korra together. Like it just feels so special to share those things with somebody, and I think that's so cool, which is why I like doing this channel too. I like having a chance to share these things that are so special, these properties and stories that mean something, and God, that's so sweet. And also the first story should learn from this. All right, your partner should love the things you do and support you. And she wasn't the asshole. But that's gonna wrap it up for today, super fans. Thank you so much for being here. I really hope you enjoyed it. I like this new format. This is fun. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a comment down below letting me know what your thoughts were on the episode. Was there anything you disagreed with me about? Let me know in the comments. I'm very curious to find out. And if you have any suggestions for stories, make sure to tell me. I'm very excited. You can leave them in the comments here. You could deem it? What? Am I 90? You can deem me on Instagram. You can DM it to me on Instagram or any of my socials. I'll list them right here. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed. The next video is going to be reviewing your Star Wars characters. And I also have 2 really cool videos in the works right now. One of them is going to be the Karate Kid, but an Avatar. And then the other one is my big project, Marvel, but an Avatar. And specifically, I'm focusing on the original 6 Avengers. And we're going to be drawing all of them. Make sure to leave a like below if you enjoyed this video and go watch a couple more. We have a great library of a ton of fandom content and you would love it. And like I mentioned at the beginning, make sure to subscribe if you haven't already. We have an awesome little community here and you would look great in it. And we're not a cult. We're called the Superfan Society just because of the alliteration, okay? There's only one sacrifice and it was to try to get Battlefront 3 made. I'm not gonna apologize for, you know, advocating for what I believe in. But anyway, I will see you all soon with the next video. But until then, stay super. Oh, and this is a Star Wars episode. May the Force be with you.